The first breath of winter drifts through the air like a secret no one dares to tell. Streetlights shimmer through the haze, painting halos around the quiet. Somewhere, a bell tolls, soft, distant, eternal. Time seems to slow, as if the world itself is pausing to listen. Snow falls like a memory, melting on your fingertips before you can hold it. The sky turns silver, the city exhales, and everything feels suspended in dream. In that stillness, the lights begin to move, slow at first, then alive with rhythm. They dance across frozen windows and whisper across rivers asleep in ice. You feel something ancient stirring beneath the calm. Beauty, maybe, or longing. The kind that makes you breathe slower, see softer, feel deeper. It's not silence, it's a quiet kind of music. A song that lingers after the snow melts and the streets awaken. Winter, here, isn't an ending. It's a spell. And once it touches you, nothing feels quite the same again. This is Whispers of Winter, where lights dance and time stands still. Boston, USA. Boston stands as one of America's oldest cities, and perhaps its most poetic in winter. Founded in 1630, it carries nearly 4 centuries of stories through its narrow, time-worn streets. When December arrives, history and holiday spirit intertwine like ribbons of gold and white. The frost gathers along the Freedom Trail, tracing the steps of patriots who once fought for liberty. At Boston Common, America's oldest public park, centuries of laughter and protest now echo beneath the Christmas tree. The architecture tells its own tale: Georgian symmetry, Victorian flair, and the stoic grace of Puritan simplicity. Trinity Church, standing proud against the modern glass of Copley Square, feels like a guardian of another era. Meanwhile, the Boston Public Library glows like a temple of knowledge, its marble halls hushed beneath winter light. Harvard and MIT lend an academic rhythm to the city, where intellect meets tradition. Yet Boston's charm is not just in its history, it's in how it embraces winter like an old friend. Snow doesn't silence the city, it softens it, makes it glow. Skaters twirl on Frog Pond, couples stroll beneath gas lamps, and choirs fill the air with carols. In Beacon Hill, every window tells a Christmas story, framed by wreaths and candlelight. Down by the seaport, ice sparkles over the harbor like shards of starlight. Boston's winter festivals, from the lighting of the Commonwealth Avenue Mall to the So-Wa Winter Market, blend art and tradition effortlessly. There's a quiet dignity in how this city celebrates, never showy, always sincere. Its blend of intellect, revolution, and warmth gives it a soul like no other. Here, the past doesn't fade, it breathes. Each snowfall feels like a curtain rising on another act of history. And under that cold New England moon, you sense something timeless stirring. Boston in winter is not merely a destination, it's a reflection of endurance, faith, and beauty. A living museum where joy and memory coexist. Where the heart of America still beats beneath the snow. And where, truly, the lights dance and time stands still. Denver, USA. There's a place where the mountains kiss the sky and winter feels eternal. Denver, Colorado, a city born from gold dust and grit, now glimmering with a new kind of treasure. Long before the skyscrapers rose, this land was home to explorers and dreamers chasing the horizon. Today, Denver still holds that restless energy, wrapped in snow and starlight. Its streets hum with a rhythm that blends Old West history and urban soul. Red brick warehouses whisper tales of the railroad era, while glass towers reflect the Rockies beyond. In December, everything changes. The city breathes winter. The smell of roasted chestnuts fills the 16th Street Mall. Horse-drawn carriages glide through downtown, leaving trails of laughter in the snow. Union Station glows like a Christmas card come alive, every arch framed in light, every window shining warmth. Locals sip peppermint mochas, bundled in scarves, smiling at strangers they've never met. At night, the city becomes a constellation, lights strung across trees, bridges, and rooftops. The Denver Zoo transforms into a wonderland of color, where penguins and polar bears twinkle in LED form. Children point upward, eyes wide, as if the lights themselves were falling stars. The mountains beyond are silent, but their presence is felt, always. Snow falls softly on the golden dome of the state capitol, and for a moment, time truly stands still. In neighborhoods like Cherry Creek, boutique windows glow with holiday dreams. Every corner feels like home, even for travelers just passing through. Denver's winter isn't just about celebration, it's about connection. A reminder that warmth isn't found in temperature, but in togetherness. When the clock strikes midnight and the snow keeps falling, you realize you're exactly where you need to be. In the heart of a city where lights dance and time simply pauses to listen. Seattle, USA. arrive in Seattle, and the first thing you notice isn't the skyline, it's the sky itself. Gray, endless, and somehow comforting. It sets the stage for a winter unlike any other. The air smells of rain and roasted coffee, the city's signature scent. Downtown hums softly, as if wrapped in a wool blanket of calm. The Space Needle stands tall, its top disappearing into the low clouds. It's winter in the Pacific Northwest, subtle, moody, and enchanting. Take a walk through Pike Place Market, where lights twinkle above fish stalls and flower stands. Buskers play mellow jazz while locals sip peppermint lattes from paper cups. Nearby, the first Starbucks glows warmly, its windows fogged from the cold outside. Across the water, ferries glide toward Bainbridge Island, their decks dusted with frost. Mount Rainier looms like a ghost on clear days, watching over the city in quiet grandeur. When nightfall, the waterfront transforms into a world of reflections, neon, moonlight, and holiday glow. Families stroll beneath strings of fairy lights, their laughter echoing against the waves. The Seattle Great Wheel turns slowly, painting arcs of color over the harbor. Up in Queen Anne, homes are trimmed with gold and green, overlooking the city like constellations. Seattle's Christmas spirit isn't about spectacle, it's about intimacy. It's the sound of rain on glass, the warmth of conversation, the comfort of being still. Cafes fill with writers, dreamers, and travelers escaping the chill. And as you sip something hot by the window, you realize the magic here isn't in the snowfall, it's in the serenity. Seattle teaches you that winter doesn't need to dazzle to be beautiful. It only needs to breathe softly between the raindrops. When the lights reflect off wet pavement, the city seems to shimmer like a living painting. And in that moment, time slows and your heart feels perfectly at peace. This is Seattle in winter, a quiet masterpiece painted in rain and light. Portland, USA. Nestled between the Columbia River Gorge and the Pacific Ocean, Portland was born from water and wood. Its roots trace back to the 19th century pioneers who built a city in the wilderness. Today, that legacy lingers in the scent of cedar, the rhythm of rain, and the artistry of its people. Winter here reveals the essence of Portland's spirit, creative, resilient, and deeply connected to nature. The city's bridges, Tillicum, Hawthorne, St. John's, stand as modern monuments to ingenuity. Each glows at night, stringing lights across the Willamette like jewels on a necklace. Downtown's historic brick buildings wear ivy and rain with equal grace. The Pearl District, once warehouses, now hums with galleries and winter pop-up markets. Every December, the Festival of Lights at the Grotto turns the forest into a cathedral of illumination. Thousands gather to walk through tunnels of color, listening to choirs echo through the evergreens. It's a celebration not of spectacle, but of spirit. Portland's architecture tells its story, a blend of Victorian charm and Pacific modernism. The skyline is modest, but the landscape steals the show. Snow-dusted fir trees and the faint silhouette of Mount Hood frame the city like a painting. At night, Powell's bookstore glows like a lantern, while local breweries toast to the season. Sustainability is not a trend here, it's a way of life. Even winter markets thrive with handmade crafts, candles, and farm-fresh cider. Rain drapes over everything, softening edges, deepening colors. And beneath that gray veil, Portland breathes poetry. Its culture blends craftsmanship with contemplation, activism with artistry. It's a city that believes in small joys, quiet moments, and the warmth of community. Winter doesn't silence Portland, it amplifies its authenticity. Every light, every song, every cup of coffee becomes an act of love. And in that love, time seems to pause, just long enough to remind you that beauty often hides in the rain. Savannah, USA. There's a charm to Savannah that no map can capture. It's something you feel in the air. A softness, a slowness, a song that hums beneath the moss-draped trees. This city was born centuries ago, but somehow it never aged. It just learned to breathe differently. Every winter, Savannah transforms, not into a snow globe, but a glowing memory. Brick sidewalks gleam under golden streetlights, and the air tastes faintly of salt and sweetness. You hear footsteps echo through the squares, mingling with the sound of distant bells. Forsyth Park wears its holiday lights like a crown, delicate, timeless, proud. The scent of roasted pecans drifts from open doors along Broughton Street. Locals decorate porches with wreaths of pine and ribbons of velvet red. There's laughter in the taverns, gospel in the churches, and kindness on every corner. River Street hums with life, cobblestones slick, lights shimmering over the water. You can almost see reflections of another century in each ripple of the tide. In Savannah, the past isn't gone. It walks beside you, hand in hand. Each home, with its iron balconies and shuttered windows, feels like a story waiting to be retold. The Cathedral of St. John glows like a beacon of peace, its spires piercing the night sky. Inside, choirs sing carols that seem to melt into the very walls. The people smile differently here, as if they've known winter's secrets for generations. It's not about snow or grand displays. it's about grace. The kind that lingers in your heart long after you've left. When the clock strikes midnight and the city rests under its velvet night, you realize Savannah doesn't move through time. Time moves through her. And for a moment, under those shimmering lights and quiet skies, you feel eternal, too. Boise, USA. Arriving in Boise in winter feels like stepping into a snow globe dream. The city lies cradled between mountains and river, glowing softly beneath a pale blue sky. From the airplane window, you see a blanket of white stretching toward eternity. But down on the streets, life hums with gentle warmth. Downtown Boise shimmers with Christmas lights, each one reflected on the icy sidewalks. You grab a hot drink from a local cafe, the kind that smells like vanilla and nostalgia. The Idaho State Capitol stands proud and luminous, wrapped in garlands and light. You wander toward the Basque Block, where winter festivals bring color to the chill. Music drifts through the air, accordion tunes, laughter, the rhythm of dancing feet. At the market, handmade ornaments and steaming cocoa bring the holidays to life. Beyond the city, the foothills call to you with their white silence. You drive toward Bogus Basin, where snowflakes whirl like silver dust. Skiers carve through powder while the city glitters below like a bowl of stars. At night, the lights of Boise look almost unreal, soft, golden, and infinite. Families skate at the Grove, while couples stroll along the Boise River Greenbelt. Everywhere, there's a sense of closeness, a quiet community warmth. Boise's winters are peaceful, but never empty. They hum with life beneath the snow. And when you stand beneath the frozen trees, you can almost hear the world breathing slower. It's not just the landscape that's beautiful, it's the feeling it gives you. The sense that you've found a pause in time, a pocket of serenity. Boise invites you to rest, to wonder, to remember what matters. Here, light doesn't just shine, it glows from within. This is Boise in winter, still, radiant, and endlessly human. A moment of calm in a world that's always rushing by. Minneapolis, USA. Welcome to Minneapolis in the bold, bright, and frozen heartbeat of the North. A city where art meets ice, and winter turns into a celebration. Set along the Mississippi River and framed by a skyline of glass and light, this is where cold becomes cool. Literally. As the temperature drops, the energy rises. Snow blankets the streets, but the city never slows down. Downtown transforms into a wonderland. Lights, music, and motion everywhere. The Holidazzle Festival takes over Loring Park with glowing sculptures, hot cocoa stands, and a sparkle that could melt even the frost. Ice skaters twirl under fairy lights, their laughter echoing through the crisp night. From skyways to streets, everything shines. Even the snowflakes seem choreographed. Minneapolis knows how to do winter right. The Guthrie Theater lights up the riverfront with color, while the Stone Arch Bridge sparkles with reflection. Cafes pour lattes spiced with nutmeg and cheer, their windows fogged from stories and warmth. At night, the city feels electric, lights dancing on the frozen lakes, music floating in the air. Art installations glow in snowdrifts. Local musicians play carols on icy corners. This isn't your quiet winter retreat. It's a live performance of color, culture, and community. You can feel the pulse beneath the frost. Even the lakes, frozen solid, become playgrounds for laughter and light. Every block offers something new, from North Loop craft breweries to Uptown's snowy nightlife. It's fresh, modern, and full of heart. Because in Minneapolis, winter isn't just endured, it's lived. And when you see the skyline shimmer under the northern stars, you'll understand why the city doesn't just survive the cold. It thrives in it. Philadelphia, USA. Philadelphia, where every corner feels like a memory and every winter night tells a story. It's the city that gave birth to a nation and somehow still feels like home. Founded in 1682, it's one of America's oldest hearts. And each December, that heart beats a little brighter. Snow dusts the cobblestones of Elfreth's Alley, the country's oldest street. Lanterns sway in the breeze, casting amber light on brick walls built by hand centuries ago. The scent of hot chocolate and cinnamon drifts from Market Street cafes. Rittenhouse Square glimmers with strings of white and gold. Couples skate hand in hand, their laughter echoing into the night. At City Hall, the Christmas village comes alive. German treats, twinkling lights, and carolers singing beneath William Penn's watchful gaze. Nearby, the giant Ferris wheel spins slowly, lights reflecting on the icy pavement. In South Philly, row homes sparkle with over-the-top decorations. Neighborhoods glowing like rivers of color. It's loud, joyful, wonderfully human. And then, just when the night feels too bright, you turn a corner and find stillness. The soft hush of snow falling near Independence Hall. You remember that this was the cradle of freedom? And somehow, even the winter air feels proud. Philadelphia's Christmas isn't just about beauty. It's about belonging. A city of past and present, warmth and resilience. And under the falling snow, you realize this city doesn't just celebrate history. Pittsburgh, USA. Winter settles over Pittsburgh like a silver veil, softening the city's steel heart. The three rivers, Allegheny, Monongahela, and Ohio, flow beneath bridges laced with frost and light. Their surfaces shimmer like liquid mirrors, reflecting the golden glow of the skyline. The hills rise on every side, cradling the city in quiet majesty. Snow dusts the old brick buildings, turning the industrial past into poetry. From Mount Washington, you watch the city sparkle as dusk falls, a constellation born of steel and dream. Downtown hums softly, caught between memory and motion. Smoke from chimneys curls into the cold, weaving with the scent of roasted chestnuts and coffee. Market Square becomes a winter storybook, alive with carols and laughter. The Christmas tree stands tall beneath glowing windows, framed by timeless architecture. At PPG Place, skaters trace delicate arcs across the ice, their reflections mingling with neon and snow. Each movement feels like music, each breath a cloud of wonder. You can hear the faint whisper of trains along the riverbanks, a rhythm older than the city itself. The bridges, hundreds of them, glow like strings of gold, binding Pittsburgh together in light. Steel and snow, history and heart, this is the city's language. It speaks not loudly, but beautifully. Winter here is not harsh, it's luminous. Every shadow hides warmth, every chill carries grace. In the quiet between the rivers, time seems to pause, listening. The city's pulse slows, its breath deepens. And beneath the falling snow, Pittsburgh feels eternal, alive in stillness. place where light outshines the cold and history hums softly beneath your feet. This is not just a city, it's a living memory draped in white. A winter symphony whispered through bridges, rivers, and sky. Where lights dance and time stands still. Halifax, Canada. Founded in 1749, Halifax has weathered centuries of wind, war, and waves. Yet each winter, it renews itself, quiet, dignified, eternal. The city's soul lies in its harbor, one of the deepest and oldest in North America. Once a British and naval stronghold, now it stands as a beacon of culture, resilience, and warmth. Snow falls on the citadel's stone walls, softening the scars of time. Down below, the old town clock keeps its faithful watch, ticking through fog and frost. Historic buildings along Hollis and Barrington Streets glow with Victorian charm. Cafes and boutiques fill these old spaces, blending history with the pulse of modern life. Every December, Halifax transforms into a maritime winter wonderland. The parade of lights sails through the harbor, where boats dressed in color glide across the water. At Grand Parade Square, the Christmas tree stands tall, surrounded by music and laughter. The scent of mulled wine and roasted almonds drifts through the cold night. Museums open their doors to families, sharing stories of sailors, settlers, and hope. The Maritime Museum of the Atlantic tells tales of storms and survival, Titanic, Halifax explosion, and beyond. But tonight, the harbor is calm. The city glows with peace. Light bounces off snow, water, and glass, three mirrors reflecting time. Even in the quiet, you can feel the rhythm of the ocean beneath the streets. Halifax winters are not harsh, they're honest. They reveal the city's soul, enduring, creative, deeply human. Here, tradition meets tenderness. You sense the resilience of a people who have always faced the sea and smiled. And under the glow of 1,000 lights, Halifax stands still, proud, poetic, and full of heart. A port where history breathes and winter feels like home. Where the lights dance and the past never truly fades. Pernambuco, Brazil. In the heart of northeastern Brazil, Pernambuco stands as a mosaic of history, faith, and rhythm. Its capital, Recife, was once called the Venice of Brazil, its canals weaving stories of trade and transformation. Founded in the 16th century, the city has survived invasions, revolutions, and rebirths. Yet, through it all, one thing never faded: its light. Winter here doesn't bring silence, it brings celebration. The streets of Olinda, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, glow beneath a sun that never tires. Baroque churches crown the hilltops, their bells mingling with the crash of waves below. Every wall tells a story of Portuguese settlers, African roots, and indigenous spirit. Pernambuco is where cultures didn't collide, they danced. From maracatu to frevo, its music pulses with centuries of resilience and joy. In December, lights shimmer along Reciefe's waterfront, reflecting in the river like 1,000 candles. Festivals fill the nights with rhythm, laughter, and devotion. The scent of tropical flowers and roasted corn drifts through the warm air. Markets overflow with colors and crafts, each piece carrying the hands of generations. Though the world above the equator sleeps under snow, Pernambuco stays awake in celebration. Its beaches, from Porto de Galinhas to Boa Viagem, glow with golden calm. Families gather on the sand, singing carols under constellations older than memory. Here, warmth is not just weather, it's culture. Faith flows easily into festivity, reverence into rhythm. The ocean, the sky, and the people all seem to move to the same heartbeat. History breathes in every wave, every song, every smile. And as the night deepens, the lights of Pernambuco shimmer like eternal fire. A reminder that winter, too, can be full of life. Salvador, Brazil. Salvador da Bahia, Brazil's first capital, its spiritual heart, and the cradle of Afro-Brazilian culture. Founded in 1549, it was once the gateway between Africa and the New World. Centuries of history still pulse through its streets, carried in the rhythm of drums and prayer. The old town, Pelourinho, stands proud above the sea, its colonial houses glowing in shades of joy. Here, winter brings not frost, but festivals. The city's faith and folklore merge seamlessly under the tropical sun. At San Francisco Church, Baroque gold glitters beneath painted ceilings that tell stories of heaven and earth. Just beyond, candomblé temples hum with ancestral energy. You can feel both Catholic hymns and Yoruba chants swirling through the same wind. The rhythm of atabaques, hand drums, beats like the city's pulse, steady, sacred, eternal. Along the coast, fishermen cast nets while women dressed in white offer flowers to Yemanja, goddess of the sea. The Atlantic sparkles as if blessing the devotion of generations. At sunset, Largo do Pelourinho becomes a stage of light and motion. Capoeira circles form, bodies moving with elegance and defiance. Every kick, every spin is a story of survival turned into art. Salvador's winter carries this duality, joy born of endurance, music born of memory. The temperature never drops, but the soul always rises. The city's lights aren't decoration, they're heritage. They illuminate the path of a people who turned history into harmony. Here, every sound is sacred, every dance divine. Time moves slower, as if listening to the rhythm of drums. And when night finally falls, the city glows, not with electricity, but with spirit. Salvador, where faith, freedom, and music become one. A city where the lights never stop dancing and time never dares to move. Curitiba, Brazil. Curitiba stands as one of Brazil's most unique cities, a fusion of innovation, culture, and European heritage. Founded by immigrants from Poland, Germany, and Italy, its architecture and traditions reflect the soul of many homelands. But it is the city's winter that reveals its truest character. The chill in the air carries the scent of pine and wood smoke, echoing the mountains beyond. In the old district, Baroque churches and pastel facades glow beneath soft winter light. The Praça Tiradentes hums gently with life, its cafes filled with quiet warmth. Curitiba's botanical garden, its most iconic landmark, shines like a palace of glass amid emerald lawns. Designed after French gardens, it becomes a dreamscape when mist rolls through at dawn. Nearby, the Wire Opera House, suspended over a forested lake, turns to silver at sunset. Its reflection flickers like a lantern in the water. Each landmark feels like a love letter to art, architecture, and nature. The city's planners, once world-renowned for their foresight, left behind a harmony few metropolises possess. In winter, that harmony becomes visible, a rhythm between silence and life. Locals gather in parks, sipping yerba mate, sharing warmth and quiet camaraderie. Food markets fill with the aroma of roasted pinham and baked goods inspired by Europe's cold weather recipes. Yet, nothing about Curitiba feels copied. It feels reborn. It takes its roots and makes them sing in a Brazilian key. The soft light, the muted tones, the calm streets, all feel timeless. Even the wind seems to move slower here. Winter doesn't freeze the city, it polishes it, makes it glow. Curitiba stands as proof that beauty doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. And in that whisper, you can hear the heartbeat of a city perfectly at peace. A place where innovation meets serenity. Where light dances on glass and time stands still. Cartagena, Colombia. On Colombia's Caribbean coast, where the air tastes of salt and sunlight, stands Cartagena. A city where time doesn't pass, it lingers. Behind its coral walls and balconies of bougainvillea, centuries whisper through the sea breeze. Once a fortress of gold and empire, now a living masterpiece of light and color. The old town glows like a lantern at dusk, cobblestone streets winding through stories of pirates, poets, and lovers. As December comes, the city transforms. Christmas here isn't white, it's golden. Lanterns hang from palm trees, and strings of lights cascade over the ramparts. scent of arepas, cinnamon, and sea wind fills the night air. Music drifts from plazas where salsa beats mix with church bells. Children chase sparklers along the ancient walls, laughter echoing over the ocean. The Cathedral of Cartagena shimmers beneath the tropical moon, its domes glowing like candle flames in the warm night. Balconies bloom with poinsettias and ribbons of red. In Plaza Santo Domingo, candles flicker beside bronze statues and weathered stone. Every corner feels alive, every shadow hums with history. There's no frost, no snow, only the shimmer of sea mist and faith. Here, the spirit of Christmas feels eternal. Not in cold silence, but in the warmth of life itself. As waves brush the old walls, time seems to pause. You look out at the Caribbean horizon, and for a heartbeat, you understand. Light doesn't need winter to dance. Cali, Colombia. In the heart of Colombia's Valle del Cauca, where mountains cradle the rhythm of the plains, there lies Cali, a city that never stops moving. Here, the sun burns brighter, the air hums with music, and every heartbeat becomes a dance. Once a quiet colonial outpost, now a living stage where joy itself takes form. When December arrives, winter doesn't come in white, it comes in gold. Lights spill across palm-lined avenues like rivers of flame. The Feria de Cali begins, a festival where days blur into nights of rhythm and radiance. Trumpets blare, drums thunder, feet move faster than thought. In the glow of Christmas lights, the whole city becomes choreography. Church towers shimmer against a sunset sky, and fireworks bloom over the River Cali like flowers of light. Children laugh in the plazas, vendors shout, lovers spin under lamplight. Every balcony bursts with color, ribbons, lanterns, poinsettias, and song. Even the air feels alive, thick with sugarcane, music, and memory. Faith and fiesta meet here, side by side. At midnight, carols rise above the salsa, soft prayers carried on tropical wind. The rhythm slow, just for a moment. Candles flicker, and time itself seems to exhale. Because in Cali, even silence has a beat. Every light tells a story. Every movement is a prayer of joy. Winter here is not about snow, it's about soul. And in that warmth, that fire, you'll find what the season truly means.